You know why I rant and rave? Because I know we're trapped. I know there's a scientific dictatorship. I know they're murdering us at will. I've got that video at the office of all those kids lined up crying with police in riot gear with dogs barking, saying it's the law as they cry and inject them. And then we had news reporters there that I've interviewed who had video cameras, and the cops would come over and say, turn your cameras off. The government's just basically broken us. They've trained us to be slaves. They've trained us to put up with anything. I know we got Dan Chris. We got people in Toronto, Pennsylvania, Oregon, Mass. I'm not going to be able to take your calls. Call me back tomorrow or next week, as I promised to break down the total takeover of society. I need to do that now here in the final segment. But I just told you how the Gardasil's killing a lot of people that are taking it. Because it's a live cancer virus, and it's causing a serious autoimmune inflammation on the brain. And I've seen the autopsy photos of these girls. I mean, it doesn't matter. I guess, go ahead and kill your daughter or hurt her real bad when she's paralyzed. I've had a lot of people write me and call me, and they'll call the office crying, going, my God, my daughter's paralyzed now. She had a stroke after she took it. Look, I'm sorry. I get to be called a kook and attacked by the media for reading mainstream government documents. I mean, it's just, it's black ops. It's soft kill weapons, and they're not going to stop. And they're getting ready with this new flu they're going to hype up in the fall to try to forcibly inoculate people. And the good news is they tried to forcibly inoculate all the first responders in 2002 with the Model States Health Emergency Powers Act, and now they have the criminal law passed to forcibly inject us, but now they're going to try to implement it. You see, they're domesticating us now, and that's why they're testing their federalization takeover through economic crises, terror crises, and biological crises. And yes, the House of Representatives passed a 13-plus 100-page bill that no one was allowed to read. They let one copy be released on the floor 30 minutes before it was going to pass. So Bonner did a House filibuster and then shut it down, and they passed it. It passed by the 8 Republicans that went over. And I gave you their names and numbers last hour, and that's up on Infowars.com. Please call them, their local bastard offices. And, they are. They're just complete thugs. You ought to read the bill. Just home inspectors, taxes on all electricity, taxes on all industry cars, no taxes on foreign countries. In fact, billions per foreign nation, Mexico, China, of tax money to pay them to implement it, and then they admit that money's going to go back to the IMF and World Bank in open money laundering. Congressman John Bonner on the Hill newspaper called the climate bill a pile of bleep and said it's the biggest tax in U.S. history, and that's what it is. But they'll slowly implement it now and just squeeze the daylights out of us. Cap and traders, again, can change vote by July 2nd deadline. We got to get behind calling those people and some of the Democrats. There's another big lie going on. They're saying, we're pulling out of Iraq. They're just pulling out of the cities into the big command bases and then moving the rest of the troops to Afghanistan. It's another lie there. The point is the big takeover, everything they haven't been able to pass, the hate bill. We have the hate bill posted up on Infowars.com. And it says word for word, it's passed the House, that if you say something that influences someone to commit a criminal act, or if you say something that may hurt someone's feeling or cause any form of distress, that you will be arrested under a federal felony, just like the Cyberbullying Act says. It has passed the House. Never before. It is now in the Senate, which is even worse. The climate takeover bill, where the federal government takes over all industry, where their own private board set up by the government can selectively decide who can have a carbon footprint and can't. Taxes on cows, taxes on sheep, taxes on anything that has flatulence. I'm not joking. Taxes on everything. Total control. And they've got all the bills introduced and on the verge of passing. And national compulsory service bills on the verge of passing. The health care takeover. Totally federalizing health care further. Controlling what doctors and nurses do so the feds can order them how to operate. They're already jacked in under their insurance rules, under Medicare and Medicaid, and these federally controlled computers tell them what aid to give, what treatment to give. They openly say they're going to ration care. That's in the bill. Even Bloomberg's reported that, and you tell people and they can't believe it. Everything's happening now. They got an amnesty. Remember the last 3 times they tried to pass amnesty? They wouldn't allow the bill to be public. They'd say it's a secret bill, but Senator Sessions leaked it, and it was more than amnesty. It said they allow felons to stay, or they signed a pledge to not commit felonies. And they could bring unlimited members of their family members here, and unlimited worker visas for skilled workers. Well, now, again, they're not letting people see the bill, but we've seen earlier versions, and that bill's introduced. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, it is coming down. It is going on. This carbon bill will completely shut down what's left of industry. It's all about artificial scarcity. By the government putting taxes on all production and all carbon activity, when we're carbon-based life forms, when carbon is 1/4 of the entire life cycle, water, sunlight, oxygen, and air, it's a tax on the key building block of life. You exhale carbon. Plants breathe it. Animals and plants, animals and plants. It's the carbon cycle. Google the carbon cycle and then click Google Images and look at the basic university or high school biology overlays and look at the life cycle and realize what they've done. It's a tax on breathing. And Nancy Pelosi said in speeches, it will chronicle and tax everything you do and track everything you do. Your national ID card with the world sales tax, when you scan it, will track and trace everything you buy, sell, and do. This is official policy. They've openly got City Year and Year Up and all these ads on TV with people in blue and gray uniforms that say environmental police with these buck-toothed, zit-faced teenagers who have no future, no jobs, red and black uniforms for City Year, marching and doing military drills on TV. They're running with taxpayer money. Have you noticed the economy's dead now and the only billboards you see are Click It or Ticket and ads of state police pulling people over and searching their cars, training you, you're a slave, you're bad, the cops are watching you? Have you noticed all the billboards? I mean, it's like, it was half of them. Now it's like 80% driving to work today. It's all government ads. See, there's nothing left. There's only the few big top corporate Fortune 50 who own this Fortune 500, and they get all the government contracts, and all the major school tuitions and scholarships are all about law enforcement, police, spying, data mining. San Antonio just took the giant former Sony plant, turned it into a huge NSA base. They admit the NSA spying on everybody's internet from there. And then the local newspaper tried to go down there, the San Antonio Current, it's like the Austin Chronicle, and the feds came off base and arrested them and took their film. That isn't about security. It's about letting you, the milk cow, know that you're cowed. What's a pimp do? A pimp beats his bitches to let them know that they're slaves and that he's going to take 110% of their money. And the cops are there. They've been told, taser them, beat them, let them know you're the boss. Be rude to the scum. Let them know that we own these women. We're a stable of crack whores with cigarette burns all over us, and the feds just slap us around and say, shut up. Shut up and do what I say, whore. And we say, yes, yes. It's in the amnesty bill that all the crimes of the illegal aliens are waived. Local police all over the country, it's in the news. They admit if they arrest illegals, the judges let them go. Because they want them here to undermine and drop the wages of everybody else. When they're done with them, they'll be treated like slaves too, don't worry. This is a nation going into hardcore scientific slavery. And if you read about the pimp game, you'll understand how the New World Order operates. Everything is how a pimp runs a whore. Everything they do is how a pimp breaks a whore. In fact, do we have Under My Thumb? Can we go out with Rolling Stone, Under My Thumb? Or no, we'll go out with Deep Purple. I doubt we have it. I want to play that because, the change has come. She doesn't look me in the eyes. She's under my thumb. Well, I'm not under your thumb, and I'm not your whore. I'm not going to sit here while you have your way with me, New World Order. If you can't get it, it doesn't matter. Take us out with Deep Purple. Again, it's all happening. They're moving with everything now. The new bank of the world, the biggest one, is the Federal Reserve, is a regional bank of the new bank of the world, announced in the news, that will be over all industry, all banking, anything to do with finance, anything to do that affects the economy. It says the Fed is above it and no agency of government can oversee them or even question them. And Bernanke was before Congress this week and said Congress has no authority over money. When Article 1, Section 8 says only Congress is, that's why they level the money. That's why they create the laws and levy the taxes. These people are incredible. They're out of control. And they've got to be resisted. We've got to stand up against the New World Order and say, I'm not your whore. I'm not your slave. There is no law that you got to take these injections. There's no law you got to drink sodium fluoride that's known to brain damage people. Get fired up, get angry, get great job, crew. We'll see you online at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.tv. This is the fall of the Republic, the rise of the New World Order. We got to bring down the New World Order.